Hello, Ma'am Hernita. Hello, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Gracia Romauli Tobing from class 25A of the English Language Education Study Program. In this video, I will talk about how I use English in my daily life and what I can do with it. But before that, I will talk about my experience in learning English. I started learning English in kindergarten, so yeah, very early on in life. I went to a National Plus kindergarten where the teachers would teach using both English and Indonesian, so I pretty much learned basic English in kindergarten. This actually gave me a big advantage once I entered a national elementary school. So in this elementary school, I managed to do really well in the English class, even though I didn't study that much, which made me a bit too confident to the point where I didn't really study for English class because I tend to rely on my knowledge back in kindergarten. But everything changed in the fifth grade when I failed a test about the past tense. So in that test, I only scored a 50 out of 100. So yeah, that moment was a huge wake-up call for me. From then on, I decided to study properly by watching educational videos online and consuming lots of English media such as movies, songs, books, and podcasts. But interestingly, over time, studying English stopped feeling like a burden to me. I began to genuinely enjoy it, which is why I decided to join this study program. Alright, I think I've talked enough about my experience, so now I will talk about my English skills and what I can do with them. I took a test on the EF website to help me evaluate my skills using the CEFR framework. I will start with my strongest skill, which is listening. So for this section, I've scored a C2, which is the proficient or mastery level. This is mainly because I love listening to podcasts on various topics. I've listened to podcasts about science, psychology, true crime, even celebrity drama sometimes, so I no longer need subtitles for movies or series, regardless of the accents and dialogue pace. However, I still struggle in understanding the fast-paced Glaswegian accent. Yeah. Moving on to the next skill, it is reading, in which I also scored a C2. This comes from my love for English fantasy novels, but since starting college, I've also been reading academic journals and articles. These texts helped me a lot to expand my vocabulary and understand complex grammar that I used in academic writing. The next skill is writing. For this skill, I scored a C1, which is the advanced level. Thanks to my reading habit, I can produce some clear, well-written text. However, I don't really write as often as I read, so I occasionally have to double-check the spelling of formal words or technical terms in my texts. On to the last skill, speaking, in which I scored a B2, also known as the upper intermediate level. I have to admit, this was a bitter pill to swallow for me. I even took a second test on another website and the result was still the same, B2. I was a bit disappointing because if you were to ask me what skill I am most confident in, I would say either listening or speaking. So the fact that speaking turned out to be my weakest skill was shocking to me. But then I remembered our past discussion about perfect grammar versus fluency. I realized that I've been focusing too much about grammar perfection to the point where I tend to pause a lot whenever I speak in English. So I don't really let the words flow out naturally, but I tend to pause and calculate the sentences that I want to say, which I guess sort of disturb the natural flow in a conversation. So yeah, I believe that I need a lot of improvement in this particular area. So yeah, I will practice more on my speaking. So that's all from me. I would like to express my gratitude for Ma'am Hernita for giving me this assignment, because the entire evaluation process, self-skill evaluation process, actually was a big eye-opener for me. So yeah, I really appreciate it. And I want to apologize on any mistakes that I've made in this video. And of course, thank you so much everyone for watching this video.